everyone. It's so good to have you today, and welcome to Recovery in Action. And we have a very special guest, dear to my heart, Justina Johnson, with us today. And we're going to be talking about her, the last time she was here, she was in recovery, and then she was out of recovery, and now she is actually working in the field of recovery. And we just wanted to bring her on to just let people know, as I always say, there is hope. And I just want to just thank you for coming today in this beautiful October morning. And it's so good to have you with us. And I love the fall, love this weather. Sweater weather's my favorite, and I just love it. But I just wanted to let you know that some things going on, meetings that we're having. There are meetings now every evening of the week here in Connersville. If there's not a meeting, there's a church service. There's different things that you can get involved in. And we just want you to know that we're working very hard in the recovery community and achieving these goals that we have often said that we needed and now that we have. And on Monday evenings at the Methodist Church on 8th and Central, they are having Better Days. It's in the basement, and they serve a meal. The meal starts at 6 and the meeting starts at 6:30. Everyone is welcome. On Tuesday evenings, they have Brianna's Hope at Crosspoint Church, and it's on the east side of town. It starts at 6, and then again the meeting will start at 6:30. On Wednesday evening, now, and you need to call Community Corrections, but they have meetings. It's actually classes that you can be a part of. They have anger management. They offer living in balance, addictive and criminal and addictive thinking. But you need to call them and set up times to see when it's available for you to come. And then on Thursday evenings, there is a meeting at Eastview right beside the Eastview School in the Baptist Church. They have a meeting, and I believe it starts at 7:30. And on Friday evenings at the same location, that meeting starts at 7:30. And then on Saturday evenings, at the Methodist Church on 8th and Central in the basement again is another Brianna's Hope, and it starts at 6 with a meal, and 6:30 is when the meeting starts. And after that meeting at Eastview Baptist Church, again, at 8 o'clock they have HA, which is Heroin Anonymous. So anyone that would like to go there, we have the Brianna's Hope, and it's faith-based, and then we have the HA, which is Heroin Anonymous, after that on Saturday evenings. On Sunday evenings, we have, for the families of people in addiction or in recovery, we have it starts at 6 o'clock, and it's at St. Gabriel's at the Parish House. And they have a meeting for downstairs. It is like family members, adults, 19 and above. It's family members, mothers, sisters, wives, husbands, anyone that wants to attend that meeting. Mel Wright is the one that chairs that meeting, her and Cheryl Reno. And if you would like to come, you're more than welcome. And it's just giving you support if you have someone in substance use disorder that you really are concerned with and that you just need some encouragement with. And then at the same time, we have it for children from ages 7 to 12, and then 13 to 19. They have their own little breakout sessions to where they can speak with each other, talk, just get encouragement. And then right after that, at 7 p.m., there is a NA meeting there at the same location. But there's a lot of stuff going on around town, and we just want you to know that we're providing as much services as we can, and we want to help anyone that we can in their substance use disorder. That means your family, that means yourself. Any way that we can help, we want to offer you that encouragement. Now, I would like to introduce to you Justina Johnson. Hey, Justina.
Hello.
So good to have you here. I'm excited. She's one of my favorites, girls. And Justina has came a long way, a very long way. And today we're going to talk about how she was in substance use disorder, and now she went into recovery, first detox, then recovery, transitional, and now she has actually started working in the field of recovery. So you have went through a lot of stepping stones to get to where you are today.
Definitely have.
It's so good to have you. So tell us a little bit where you started, and then kind of lead us into what you're doing now.
So August 6th of 2017 is my official clean date. When my kid's father passed away, I got into recovery. I went to South Carolina. It was called the Owl's Nest. It was a 90-day treatment program. And it was like 9 meetings a day for 90 days. It was like AA boot camp.
Here you go.
Yeah. It was very intense, very structured. You know, we'd have to be up at 6, do our morning meditation at 6:45. And then every hour throughout the day, we were going to a meeting, and we'd have a little break, you know, in like the afternoon time after lunch. And then through the rest of the evening, we was in meetings. Just learning about, you know, addiction, and so we could get an understanding of where our addiction was coming from and like how the brain works, you know, when you start using substances. And people that have addictions, you know, like they would say there was normal people, and then there were us that was addicts. And I'm like, who's a normal person anyway?
Define normal.
Exactly, define normal. So I completed that program. And it was getting time for me, you know, the 90 days was coming up. And I just knew that if I left that program and just went straight back to like what I was doing before, like I knew I needed a longer term recovery program, because that 90 days helped me, but it definitely didn't get me to where I needed to be.
Right.
So my mom actually started calling around, and that's when she found Sharon Cranfield in the House of Ruth program.
I remember when she called.
Yeah. And so she called me, and she was like, well, we found you a place to go. It's called the House of Ruth. I'm like, well, what is that? And she's like, well, it's an 18-month treatment. I was like, 18 months? Like, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And I was asking her where it's at, and she's like, that's in Connorsville. And I mean, I just remember like, well, at least I'll be closer to home, you know, because that was my main goal. I wanted to be closer to home, because the whole 3 months I was at South Carolina, I mean, I was states away, so my mom and my kids couldn't come see me while I was there. So anyway, I completed my program there at the Owl's Nest and went straight from there to the House of Ruth program. And I lived there. You know, it's like a 12 to 18-month program, and I think I was there about 13 months altogether. And during that time, I got into IOT. I went through some of the community correction programs and completed those. Attended meetings like nightly, you know, and went to church too, Wednesdays and Sundays.
And IOT, for people that doesn't know, is intensive outpatient treatment.
Yep.
And they offer that here through Meridian Services, yes.
So I completed, you know, went through my different phases through the program. And when Sharon and a few of the other girls, they were talking about recovery coach, you know, and I'm like, what is that? And started getting my curiosity sprung, because I know, like me, I like to help people. So, and like they went through the training and whatnot, and I actually had an opportunity come up where I could go through that training as well. And I mean, I jumped right on it because I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
that's, you know, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people like me. So I started, and it was a process for that, actually. I think it took about a whole year
Yeah.
for me to get through all the trainings and, you know, because
Yeah.
the first part of it, I was actually able to pay for myself, but then the second part of it, through where I was working, got a grant to help pay for a few of us to get through the rest of the training. I started out working here in Connersville at North Star Recovery Center, which is no longer here, and it made me sad because I'd worked there from the time we opened until we closed. But they actually was able to get us a grant to help a few of us employees get through that training.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah, definitely
Because, I mean, that was something that you really enjoyed.
Yeah,
You really enjoyed.
yeah. And I mean, I'm just so grateful that I had that opportunity to get to go through that training and stuff. Because that's my ultimate goal, is just helping people. But so anyway, I completed the trainings and was waiting to take the test, and North Star closed. So that, I mean, before they closed, though, I was looking for further employment for like detox centers
Right.
and whatnot.
Right.
And I got hired on at St. Vincent's in Anderson, Indiana, which they call it the Anderson Center. So that is a detox unit as well. It deals with mental health and substance use disorder. So I had started working there, and it was like 3 weeks after I started working there when I actually got to finally take my test. And I remember calling you that day when I got there, like, just, you know, say a prayer for me because I'm about to go and take my test, and I have to pass it. Like, I could not pass it after I worked so hard
After
to
you
get to
work
that point.
hard, absolutely. And test taking is not easy anyway. Yeah.
It was definitely, but so I went there, I took my test, and I got done with it, and I was waiting, and the lady's like, well, you passed. And I was so happy that day. I'm like calling everybody on the phone, like, hey, I passed it. I'm a recovery coach.
Yeah.
Like, so I completed my recovery coach, got my certificate for that, and I was working at the Anderson Center, and they were talking about like hiring me on as a peer recovery coach there, but they couldn't give me an exact time. And I was working like night shift, which I was so ready to be done working night shift. So,
So do they hire recovery coaches at the Anderson Center, or are they get in the process?
They're in the process, and they couldn't even tell me how long it was going to be.
Right.
They know they want, because they want to separate. They want to have the mental, like they want to have the substance use disorder patients on the one side of the building, and then people that's in there dealing with the mental issues and whatnot, they want to have them on another, but they still, I mean, it's a process. So
Right.
I just started applying at different places as a peer recovery support. And I mean, within a month, I had gotten the offer with Meridian.
In Muncie.
Yeah,
Yes.
at Meridian in Muncie, Indiana. And went through my interview. When I got to my interview, there was like 3 or 4 ladies in there, and I was like, well, I guess we're just gonna have a party in this interview. Because I walked in and I just thought it was gonna be me and the one lady. There ended up being like 4 of them in there. So that was, I mean, it was kind of intense, but it's like, I got this, I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So went through my interview and whatnot, and they actually offered me the job, and I am their first peer recovery coach that they have. So it's,
How exciting.
yeah, it's very exciting. It's been a process.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build this position, and they're kind of giving it to me to like build on my own. So it's definitely been, I mean, it's been an experience, and we're starting to get some policies and procedures in place, and like stuff that I can do, and stuff that's kind of out of my scope of practice because they didn't know what I could and couldn't do really.
And see, that's one of the things a lot of people don't understand that. I mean, recovery coaches, we're not counselors, we're not therapists,
Yeah.
We're not psychologists or psychiatrists. Recovery coach, we're there to help people move to the next place where they need to be. You meet people where they are.
Right.
That's one of the first things that they tell you, and then you help someone get to the next phase that they need to be going to. And so many people sometimes don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Because like you said, in substance use disorder, I mean, 3 months, you knew that when you got out, it wasn't long enough.
Yep.
So being able to search out places, and that's why a recovery coach helps people. It gives them resources, gives them ways of dealing with, like we were laughing, before we started, adulting.
Yeah.
We use that term, because it is funny, but it is adulting, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And just having those resources and having, some help to guide people, help guide them in the right direction. We're not there to, tell them all their wrongs and everything they've done bad. And, that's not what it's about. It's about encouraging them and helping them, not doing it for them.
Definitely not.
It's hard not to do that because,
Yeah.
because you want them to get it so bad. And then, it's like, oh my gosh, so.
Like I tell patients all the time, like, I can't do this for you. I can help you and I will assist you and I'll love you all along the way.
Yeah.
But it's got to be you that's wanting it, and like I can't do it for you.
Right,
Like I definitely can't. Because if I could, I would. I would recover for like everybody. But
let me help you.
Yeah. Like,
But
just let me do it.
Exactly, but it's one of those things sometimes, as getting their simple GED.
Right.
Getting, I say
Connecting
simple to some people, it's not simple, but connecting them with the right people to help them, transportation, jobs, meetings,
Right.
Food stamps, insurance, there's so many areas that sometimes they just need, I've
Yeah.
always said they need a hand up, not a handout.
Right.
They're not asked, they want, and that's what we do is, and just like with you, I mean, you can relate. I mean, the things that you've been through, losing your children's father, being in substance use, abuse, and being in detox. You've went through programs. So when they're sitting there, they're saying, well, it can't be done. And, it's
Yeah,
that
I can definitely tell them
encouragement. Yeah.
that it can be.
Yeah. You're definitely on the other side of the
Yeah.
desk now.
Yeah, a few of my patients are like, well, you don't know what it is I'm going through. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Well,
I
they
did.
see you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I know exactly what you're going through. And, I mean, we can definitely relate. I feel like when I introduce myself to a new patient or client or whatever, I'm like, my name's Justina. I am a peer recovery support. I'm here to advocate for you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to listen to you. And just anything I can help you with that revolves around like the barriers that can hinder your recovery, because there's so many things that can come up with somebody that is trying to get their lives back on track and become, get sober and whatnot.
And there's barriers that are discouraging.
Oh yeah.
Here you are, you're like, I got this, I got 6 months clean, I've got this, I've got that, and then, but people so many times, they just remember how you were, and it's a trust issue.
Yep.
And trust, because, we have to regain that trust from people that we've hurt. Hurts, habits, and hang-ups. That's what Celebrate Recovery talks about. Because, and it is the truth. And those barriers, can be so discouraging for people. And like you said, the key thing is you're an advocate for them. You're a voice for them.
Yep. Anything like that when they come and they're talking about stuff like they're stressed or they're, whatnot. Like actually last weekend, I had invited one of the clients to a meeting, and so I got there and was talking with some people and, here comes because I told him I'd be there. I was like, so, make sure you come because I'll be there and you can sit with me if you're feeling like nervous about, because he hasn't been to a meeting yet.
Right.
And it was the first one he attended. So he comes walking in and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you came.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made me feel good because like just knowing that I was able to give him that resource and, support him. And like I told him I'd be there. So if he got there and didn't know anybody, like he could sit with me and
you motivated him
yeah,
with
and
encouragement.
so,
yeah.
And now he's supposed to come every Saturday night. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's awesome.
Yeah. And giving your testimony, you were telling me earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, they've asked you to speak in Muncie at a meeting, and I mean that's a big deal.
Yep.
I mean, people, the Bible even says we're made overcomers by the words of our testimonies. And I can't speak for you. You can't speak for me. You can't
Right.
speak for your clients, but you can have a voice in what to help the recovery community. And anything that you can do and say and encourage and motivate, I mean, that is such a key part in what the recovery community is in need of right now. I mean, there's so many things going on, so many changes, because it has been such just a tragedy of the things that has went on, and to know that people are out there, just like you, just like so many others, that are in recovery, that are offering hope and being that voice, speaking out, and just being there for them. Sometimes, and I know you've probably ran into this, I mean, sometimes just being there, you don't even have to
Right.
say a whole lot, just
listening to them,
Yeah.
and letting them like rant about whatever happened that day that they just got
Yes.
so upset about. Like since I've started meeting with clients and stuff, because when I first got there, I wasn't. I was starting to get stuff organized and all that. But since I've started actually meeting with patients and stuff, I mean, I can tell I'm making a difference with just the ones I'm helping so far, Like I've already set somebody up and got them in classes. Like, they actually called and whatnot, but I gave them that resource. I connected them to that. And so now they've started their classes for their GED.
Yeah.
One actually got employed through, I have a list of people that will hire people with like felonies, so they applied at a couple of places. Well, last week she got the job.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just like, yeah, like you guys are doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I've connected another lady with like a clothing bank type thing there in Muncie, because she actually didn't have, resources to help get her clothing to start going out to, look for jobs.
Right.
So I've connected her with that. There's just,
There's so many different areas.
Yeah,
We were
it's-
talking about that because different people are working on resource guides. And lots of times it's not money. They need food. They need
Right.
shelter. They need,
Yeah.
just daily needs. Sometimes it's just stuff like that, and which money always helps, but sometimes just meeting that daily need
Right.
to get them through today
yeah.
is so important. But having a resource guide right in front of you.
So you can just
and
pull it out and
pull
be like,
it out. Here you go.
let's start making phone calls.
And it's true. And lots of times they don't know. They really don't. I know here, that's still like people say they don't even know that the House of Ruth is here. Like meetings. Well, I didn't even know we had meetings every night.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know this church helped with that, or the food pantries. You mean they do that here?
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to go without. There are, even if you're not in, substance use disorder, if you're not in full-blown addiction, if you know, there's means of help, you know, that we can help people with and do things and guide them in different areas. It's not about just the substance use
Right.
disorder. It's about helping people, because you know that's just what we do. That's our heart, and we want to see people succeed.
Definitely.
And you're visiting your kids now, girl.
Yeah,
You just done a full circle.
And, I mean, because I've been living with my fiance and his parents, but at the end of the month, we are moving out into our own house.
into your own place.
And it's definitely been a blessing, like them letting us stay there. So we've been able to save up money and just different stuff. We both got us, you know, decent running cars. It's like, I mean, the last 2.5 years, I just couldn't think from where I was at to where I am now. Just, you know, how far that I could
Yeah.
let this take me.
How
And
blessed
it's just,
you are. Yes.
I'm so blessed. Like every
Yes.
day, it just amazes me. Like this weekend, I was with my kids and we took them to the orchard and stuff. And even though my kids still live with my mom, that's not something I let hinder, you know, my
Right,
recovery.
right.
It actually drives me to keep going.
Yeah.
You know,
Motivate you.
yeah, because I know one day my kids will be back with me.
Yes.
And that's just going to be in God's time and
Yeah.
when that's supposed to happen.
But it's
So,
such a blessing now. They're in your life. You get
Oh,
to
yeah.
see them. You get to take them places
Yep.
you get to. Yeah.
and I'm going to be setting them up their own bedrooms in the house because we got
Aw.
a 3-bedroom. So the boys will be in one and Haley will be in the other, and it's just it'll be perfect.
You got the plan going on.
And like next summer, I'll actually get to keep them for like 2 weeks too, all by
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, yay!
Well, absolutely.
Like my
Maybe you have
daughter
some vacation time.
Yeah, my daughter
You
told
can take it off.
my mom, well, you guys will have a break. Why we go stay with the
Yeah.
mom? I'm like,
Yeah.
yep. Now we're gonna have her a break, and you guys
Yeah.
come stay with me. So
But
it's,
see, that's stuff that you've worked for.
yep,
And that's stuff that is attainable to other people.
definitely.
Just
is.
working. Has it been easy?
Definitely, recovery is not easy. They say life on life's terms, but
Yeah.
you just have to, you know, live each day. Don't try and like overthink about, you know, next month or the month after that,
Yeah.
because it'll just, I mean, it'll stress you out. Just live each day, every day, and do the best you can every
Yeah.
day. You know, and
Do
if-
what you can do today.
exactly. If you stumble, don't stop. Get back up and keep on going. You know.
Yeah.
So there's always
Yeah.
going to be a hang up, or there's going to be something that's going to make you feel like, but just, you know, just keep going and don't give up, because
Yeah.
it's not worth it. It's not worth what you left in the past, you
No.
know.
Your past cannot define you.
Definitely not.
Your past does not define you.
No.
And I love that. I do. I enjoy watching, you know, the smile on your face, the, you know, the achievements, the phone calls. I love that when you call and you're like, I need help with this. All right, let's do this.
Right.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're giving back as to what people
Yeah.
has put into you. And that's what it's about. That's exactly what it's about.
I have to. I can't not help people.
Yeah.
So I had, like, in 12 steps, you know, it's so freely given, you know, so that's like the 12th step is to continue doing your daily inventory and then helping, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Passing it on,
yep,
paying it forward.
yep.
Yeah. Well, it's been so good to have you here. I just love it. I love it. And this, I just want to encourage people. I mean, you can see in Justina that recovery is possible. You know, just never give up. As long as there's breath in your body, there's hope. And we just want you to know that there's resources here. Reach out to someone. Reach out to a friend. Call me. I'm always available. I tell people, I think everybody in the country has my phone number. It's all right. It's all right. But thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again. God bless you. Have a great day.